Hello, myself Riddhi. I am senior software developer in Sufalam Technologies, and today we are going to check about local storage, session storage, and cookies. So, first of all, what are these? All developers might know about this, but for a normal user, let's see what is it. So, first of all, the HTTP protocol. It is a stateless protocol. That means it does not track any kind of information of response and request by the server and the client, which means you cannot store anything about the session or the user preferences in a HTTP protocol. Therefore, in order to resolve this problem, there are some ways to track useful information. Since we are using HTML5, it provides various options to cache or store information on the client's browser. Earlier, we were using only cookies to store data on the browser, which has some limitations. But now we also have local storage and session storage after HTML5. This allows the data to be retrieved whenever needed, allows keeping the data for long-term storage, and various other use cases such as saving the website's content or documents for offline use, user preferences, and so on. So, first of all, what is browser storage? The browser storage or a client-side storage works on similar principles to the server-side storage but has a different use case. It consists of JavaScript APIs that allows us to store data on the user's machine and then it could be retrieved whenever needed. Cookies, local storage, session storage are the three methods that are most frequently used to save data locally on a browser. All of these three methods are used to save on the user's browser, which means that if the user's data is saved in a Chrome, it won't be accessible through other browsers like Firefox. Now, what is web storage? So, with HTML5, web storage options like local storage and session storage were introduced, which made storing and retrieving of the data in a browser much simpler. One of the major improvements made with this was the storage size, which is much better than a cookies. Web storage could be accessed using JavaScript and none of this data could be read by the server unless we manually pass the data along with the request. So let's talk about the local storage first. So local storage is a web storage method that helps us to store data on a client's computer in the form of key value pairs in a web browser. The data is stored in a local storage for a lifetime unless the user manually deletes it from the browser. It does not expire even when the user closes the window or tab. There are some pros and cons for the same, like advantages are no expiration date, which means it will stay in the user's browser forever. Then it has a huge storage limit, about 10 MB. Then data is never transferred to the server, which means it will not automatically get transferred unless we manually pass it. Then there are some disadvantages also, like local storage data is in a plain text. It is not designed to be secure. Right. Then the data type is restricted to strings. Hence, it needs to be serialized, which means any user can alter that data, pass any malicious code with it. So that data needs to be serialized whenever we access it. Then data can only be read on the client side, not on the server side. Okay. Then there are some methods for local storage to access the local storage. First one is the set. To set the data in a local storage, use set item method. The parameters for this method are key and value. With this method, we can store value with a key. As an example, you can pass first argument will be a key and the second argument will be a value for that key. Then second method to retrieve, we can use the get item method to access the data kept in a local storage. The key whose value we need to retrieve is the sole parameter for this procedure, which means which key you want to retrieve, that you need to pass in a argument for this method. As you can see, we have passed our key name and we can get the value for it in a response. Third one, remove. The remove item method, which is kept in memory with the key, allows us to delete the data, which means you can pass the key which you want to remove or delete in an argument. Fourth one is a clear method, which means it will clear all of your local storage stored in a user's browser. Now let's talk about session storage. It is very similar to the local storage. The main difference is the lifespan, as it persists in a browser until the current tab is on. So once user close the tab or terminate it, the data on the session storage also get lost. We can also set and retrieve its data using set item and get item methods, respectively, similar to the local storage methods. Now cookies. So prior to the introduction of HTML5, cookies were the only option to store any data on the user's browser. It helps us to store the client-side data to enable a personalized experience for the website's user. Cookies are sent with request to the server and are set to the client on response. Therefore, its data is exchanged with the server on every request. Like web storage, it can also be created, updated, read through JavaScript methods. Cookies are categorized into two types: session cookies and persistent cookies. Session cookies are deleted when the browser is closed because they do not contain the attributes such as expire or max age. Means they do not have any expiration time. So whenever user closes the browser, the session cookies are deleted. Persistent cookies, they specify the expire or max age attributes. So this do not expire on closing the browser, but will expire at a specific date or a length of time. So now let's compare these three on basis of its features. So first of all, capacity. Local storage has 10 MB, session storage has 5 MB, and cookies have 4 KB of capacity. Browser supports. So local storage and session storage are introduced with HTML5, but cookies you can use with HTML4 and HTML5 both. Accessibility. Local storage can be accessed with any window of the browser. Session storage remains on a same tab, which means you cannot access session data with any other tab or any other window. Cookies, same as local storage, you can access it through any window of the browser. Now, expiration. So local storage stays forever. They never expire until user manually clears it. Session storage, on a tab close, session data get lost. Cookies. So cookies expiration time we can manually set, or as we have seen session cookies, so on a tab close it can be removed. Now browser support, all of three has a very high browser support, so we can rely on any of the three. Supported data types, as we have seen earlier, all of these three have only string type as a value. Auto expire option. So local storage doesn't have any such option. Session storage, yes, you can give expiration time. Cookies, yes, you can give expiration time. Storage location. So local storage location is only browser. Same for session storage, but cookies. As cookies are exchanging a data between client and server, so it has both storage location on a browser and on a server. Then editable and blockable by users. So yes, on all of three, user have control whether they want any website to store or access their session storage or web storage or not. SSL support. Local storage and session storage has no SSL support, but cookies have. So now conclusion. Which one of these three we should use based on our requirement? Like there are multiple options available for storing data on a user's browser. To select any of the browser storage option based on our use case. The most commonly used option are local storage and session storage and cookies. For most cases, we use the local storage object if we want some data to be on the browser. The session storage is used when we want to destroy the data whenever that specific tab gets closed or the session is closed by the user. There are also a few security issues related to the web storage objects, like any user can alter data, as SSL attack can be done using local storage. User can pass any malicious code with the storage strings, but they are considered more secure than the cookies. So please let me know your feedback for this topic. Let us know if you need any more information and keep following us. Thank you so much.